Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Grace Hour Show, our Christian program that takes a dive into our daily challenges, helps us to learn about our faith in a practical way. My name's Matt Gehret. Today, I am joined by Pastor Steve Andrulonis. Hey, Pastor Steve.
Hey.
Today and this entire week, we're going to be focusing on a few verses in Psalm chapter 19. And today we have the privilege of kicking it off with verse 7. So, Pastor Steve, get us started, sir.
Okay, so I'm reading from the King James Version. The law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony of the Lord is sure, making wise the simple. That's our verse.
That's our verse.
We got 40 minutes.
We got
Here
40
we go.
minutes. The countdown hasn't started.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. Yeah. This is one of those Psalms that just sticks out for some reason. You go back to Psalm verse 1, and both Psalm verse 1 and Psalm verse 19 speak about the law of the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a very positive force in the life of the psalmist or the writer. And we believe both of those Psalms are written by David. It's not conclusive, but it's a pretty good chance that they could both be written by David. But when the psalmist speaks about the law of the Lord,
Mm-hmm.
he's speaking about something very real, but also he's speaking about an idea, a concept, kind of a train of thought that a person can have whenever they're really focused on God, whenever they're focused on how God is instructing them. What better place to look than the law of the Lord? I know the law gets like a bad rep a lot of times.
Because legalists make it that way, right?
But it's really like Christ says in the Gospels. I didn't come to abolish the law. He says this in the Sermon on the Mount.
Yeah.
I didn't come to abolish the law. I came to fulfill it.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot to be said about the law of the Lord.
It is. There is. And there's some say, what is the law of the Lord? Well, it's the Torah. It's the first 5 books of the Bible. But really, when they talk about this specific term, they're talking about what's recast as Moses is getting ready to watch Israel. Well, he's not even going to watch Israel. He's only going to get to see the promised land. And he's on Mount Nebo, or he's nearby, and Deuteronomy is basically a second telling of the law, all the ordinances that he's been teaching these people from the time that they went into the wilderness. And so he started with Genesis, and then, of course, God gave him these things. But, we're really talking about Deuteronomy. When Jesus is battling the devil in Matthew 4 and Luke chapter 4, he's using quotations from Deuteronomy.
Yeah.
So it's like it's second Deuteronomy, that word, that prefix in a lot of words means second. So it's the second telling of the law. And, you said it best when you said that Jesus said, I'm not here to abolish the law. I'm here to fulfill it in every way, every jot. Not one jot or tittle will pass away from the law, and he's going to fulfill it all. He's the only person that kept it.
Yeah.
In every sense of the word, both spiritually, mentally, and physically. Mm-hmm. Jesus did not step out of line from the law of the Lord, which is kind of interesting because Jesus was of middle school age. And, if you ever been did you teach middle schoolers down there?
I taught middle schoolers.
You taught middle schoolers.
Yes.
So, middle school is like survival of the fittest. We used to call it junior high when I was younger, but those years, 12, 13, 14, when, human beings are changing in every way.
Yes.
It's like, Jesus went through that, keeping every bit. John, that's a miracle.
Yeah.
It's the amazing miracle that he got to the cross without ever having to step out of the will of God in that, So the law of God is perfect, and it was perfected in the Son. It was perfectly kept by the one and only Son of God.
Yes.
So, so the law of, when we say that, the law of God is perfect. If we look at it, it covers all the realm of life.
Yeah.
And really it does in the short version, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The 10 Commandments.
The 10 Commandments, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It covers how you think. It covers how you act. It covers how you relate to other people. it really, like, it's an all-encompassing. We look at it and we see this slab of rules, and honestly, it's meant to be life-giving. It's meant to help and direct and guide us. It says in John chapter 15, those who keep my commandments, Jesus speaks in the parable of the vine, those who keep my commandments, guard them, take them, make them internal in your heart and mind. It has an effect on us. So one interesting facet of Psalm chapter 19, a lot of it, like verses 1 through 6, you see verses 1 through 6 is one section, 7 through 11 is the next section, and 12 through 14 is the last section. In verses 7 through 9, every single verse you get there is an example of synonymous parallelism in Hebrew poetry. Yeah. That means the idea is stated, the law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul, and then it is restated in a similar fashion, synonymous fashion. Yeah. The testimony of the Lord is sure, making wise the simple. Reiteration is actually a really powerful tool when it comes to memory, when it comes to recall, when it comes to learning. This is like a great way that God chooses to speak to us through poetry, through Hebrew poetry, to say, hey guys, this is important. Take note of this. There's a lot packed into this little verse. Maybe that's how we're going to be able to spend 45 minutes talking about it today. There's a lot of little ideas packed into these, 10 or 20 words that are here.
Yeah, there is. I mean, and it is true. The idea of attention, the idea of concentration. I mean, you see it, if you shop for laundry detergent, there is the big bottle, and then there is the smaller bottle that is concentrated. And it's saying concentrated. You can do 60 loads with this bottle, or you could do 60 loads with this bottle. And this is so many ounces more, and this is less. And what's the difference? It's the concentration.
Yeah.
Okay, that's watered down. That one is watered down to make it look big, and this one is concentrated. Yeah. So, when the Bible is using these synonymous terms, there are gradations of meaning, and if you learn the words and you listen to the different, especially if you can go to Bible college, or take online classes, however you do it, you can find like the different realms, not realms, but different ways, the differentiations between these words, law, testimony. And, the law of the Lord is perfect. It converts the soul. The testimony of the Lord, sure, like you said, there's a parallelism there that Hebrew poetry does for that. And we heard last night, what was it? When Pastor Justin Schaller was teaching, or maybe it was Pastor Thomas Schaller was preaching before about attention and concentration, paying attention. And then Pastor Justin was taking us through these ideas of like, not being, fighting the flesh, not being, giving into the greedy self, which is the covetousness, which is commandment number 10, which is like sort of a broad that covers everything. If you're wanting something that is not yours, this is a simple definition of covetousness. Yeah. If you are wanting something that is not yours, whether it's somebody's, Corvette Stingray, 1967 Corvette Stingray.
Sounds like something Pastor Steve knew about.
No. I had a 1967 Camaro convertible. I had a 1967 Camaro convertible. It was beat up, but it was fast. It had a large engine, and it was, but no seat belts, all kinds of things. This is back in 1970s, when they didn't stop you for not wearing your seatbelt. Anyway, what was I saying?
Oh, we're back.
We're back. But you're thinking, if you want that, if you want your neighbor's wife, that's the kind of thing. Any kind of covetousness is like a lust pattern of the flesh. And I recommend Pastor Justin's message from last night. You can find it ggwo.org and listen to it if you want. But really that idea, like the law of the Lord is perfect. It's telling you it's not telling you to live up to the standards. No. It's like saying this is the way God ordained life in his creation.
Right.
And we know from the first chapter of Genesis that things became chaotic and empty, or in vanity, beholden to vain imaginations and everything. So the law of the Lord is set this way, and it's perfect. And if we can give ourselves to it, then it'll convert our soul.
Yeah. So let's use that idea of covetousness for a moment, because if you're desiring something that you don't have, you're essentially saying that you're incomplete. You're essentially saying that you're lacking something, or you perceive to be lacking something. So whenever Psalm 19 verse 7 starts with the law of the Lord is perfect, it is essentially saying, okay, that commandment in the 10 Commandments, or that list of laws in the book of Deuteronomy, that completes you.
Yeah.
If you adhere to that, it completes you. Now, can you adhere to it of your own strength and your own ability? No, absolutely not. The only person who could was Jesus Christ, because he was fully man and fully God, and he had the divine ability to hold the entire, every jot and tittle of the law up within himself. He was empowered by the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit came down on him when he was baptized, and he walked in that for 3 years in ministry, and he did everything he needed to do to fulfill the law. What can we do about it? We can look at it. We can think about it. We can meditate on it. We can ask God for help with it.
Yep.
But are we, just practically speaking, are we going to find ourselves coveting from time to time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
Of course we are. But
I want that space in line.
That's right.
I
want my coffee now. Why does that person get, they got the staff meetings on Tuesdays. What do they get? They got the last breakfast sandwich. I can't believe that. They got the last. Okay. All right. I digress. The idea is that the law is perfect. It is complete. It is without want, without desire. If you can not live up to it, that's the wrong way of thinking about it, like you said. But if you can adhere to it, if you can take it as part of your life, you're not lacking anything. So if you have Jesus in your life, if you're a believer, you have the man who fulfilled the entire law in you, living in you. And you can submit to that man and be complete. Psalm 23, verse 3, verse 1 even, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. I won't have these extra desires, these covetous things happening in my life. Why? Because in verse 3, it says, he restores my soul.
That's a big thing.
He restores my soul. And that's exactly what Psalm 19, verse 7 is saying. Converting the soul is like restoration of your soul. But if you live in your own heart, if you live with your own flesh, and that's all you pay mind to or attention to, then you're always going to be thinking, oh, I want this. Oh, I want that. Oh, I need this. Oh, that's desirable. You're going to be like Eve in the garden when the devil opened her eyes to see, the fruit is good for food and wisdom and to be like God.
Wow. Well, this is
Sorry, I don't know.
No, you're doing a great. I thought of that this morning too, because I'm reading Psalm 23, and I got to that very. Before I even got the call to come and sit with you today, I was reading Psalm 23, and I saw that portion there, like restoration, soul restoration.
Yeah.
The Lord is my shepherd. So we could, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not covet.
Yeah.
I shall not covet. Yeah. He leads me green pastures. He leads me still waters, and then he restores my soul. Now because of what happened in the garden, our soul needs restoration. It wasn't that way before that day, but after that moment, then we're always needing restoration. It's like a constant, like you said, I have want, I have a desire, The drive-through is built on the fact that people want things now.
Oh, convenience. Yes.
So this is like
two for $5. Yes, please.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, precisely.
Yeah.
And restoring this idea of soul restoration, the idea of converting your soul, getting it right in line. Okay, so let's do a little. We talked about this before the show.
Okay.
Let's do a little. I'm going to give a little vocabulary lesson. There's a Latin root,
here,
and it's
teacher Steve coming out. Here we go.
Latin root vert.
Yeah.
And the word that it leads first, that becomes at the beginning, is vertical.
Okay. Yeah.
So now whenever you see VERT, in other words, it is always talking about, getting you to be looking up, vertical, getting you back to the vertical relationship, getting you back into a right angle with what is above. So if the law of God is perfect, did we need the law of God before Adam and Eve fell? Did we need soul restoration before that? No. But do we need to be converted now? Yes, every day.
Right.
It's like every day we fall in some way, and every day, and we need to be converted, and we need to look to the law of God. And the law of God's the first element of the law of God. The first commandment is, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord thy God is one."
Yeah.
This is Jesus talking in Mark, I think it is, when he was asked about what are the greatest commandments, and he said, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself." He said, "I'm going to take all the commandments and my law and press it into these two things." So if you have this right relationship with God, if you are, you look to the law of the Lord to be converted, to get back into order with the relationship of the one who is above.
Yes.
So, if you're perverted, you're crooked. You're out of that relationship. You're diverted. You are distracted. If you are whatever, you can revert, which is like sort of a horizontal way, but being converted is different. You have changed it's speaking of your mindset or your belief system. You could revert. It's upright. You're looking up. So the law of the Lord is perfect.
Yes.
It's like, it's there. It's like, I think we could all say that, like, if people would just obey the 10 commandments, life would be fine. No one would be shooting each other.
Right.
No one would be cheating on their wives.
Right.
No one would be bearing false witness, gossiping about each other.
Right.
And then the last one, no one would be wanting other people's stuff, and everyone will be honoring father and mother. You're getting into that. You got 2 kids, right? 3. You got 3 now. That's 3. Right. So you're outnumbered. Ooh, congratulations.
Hey, you know what that's like.
I do. I mean, it was terrifying.
We're the opposite. We got 2 girls and a boy, though.
Yeah. Terrifying. Terrifying to be outnumbered, But anyway, but the law of the Lord is perfect if we go to it. So you're going to it. There.
Okay. Yeah. The law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul. One picture that I found in the Old Testament that kind of does this idea justice of refreshing your soul or rejuvenating or whatever word you want to use there is the relationship of Boaz to both Ruth and Naomi.
Okay.
He's a kinsman redeemer. Okay. So this is what it says at the end of the book of Ruth, kind of like a summation of, what this relationship actually means. So I'll start in verse 13. It says, "So Boaz took Ruth, and she was his wife. And when he went in unto her, the Lord gave her conception, and she bare a son. And the women said unto Naomi, Blessed be the Lord, which has not left you this day without a kinsman, that his name may be famous in Israel. And here it is, ready? He shall be unto you." Now, I find it interesting that they're speaking to Naomi. Naomi, not Ruth.
She's not the mom. She's the grandmom.
She's the,
I mean, not really, because, her son is gone.
Right, but it's her line, ultimately, that this is being redeemed. "And he shall be unto you, Naomi, a restorer of your life." That's the same word, restorer, right there. The same thing as converting the soul. A restorer of your life and a nourisher of your old age. For your daughter-in-law, which loves you, which is better to you than 7 sons, has borne him. So this is just like an amazing picture of the restoration that takes place when we adhere to the law of the Lord. Like here is an actual example of a woman adhering to the law of the Lord. Okay. Your husband dies. Your sons who could have carried on the line die. Well, what's the only way to continue your line according to the law? You need a kinsman redeemer. Yeah. And Boaz goes about it like line by line as the law. He even checks with the person who has the spot in front of him. Like, hey, you could redeem this family if you want. But if you don't want to, I'm willing to do it. That's what happens in the book of Ruth. That's what happens with both. They follow the law And what happens? This is the line of Christ we're talking about. This is going to be what? This is going to be Jesse, isn't it? Is this Jesse being born right now?
No, this is
the father of Jesse.
Yeah, the father of Jesse.
Okay,
it's Obed.
And then
Obed
Jesse.
is born father of Jesse. Right?
Yes,
I think it's right there at the end there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Just keep reading, Pastor.
It goes through the line of.
You
David.
are right. Yes, they called his name Obed. He is the father of Jesse, the father of David.
So okay. So I think this is setting us up. The law of the Lord is perfect. It converts the soul.
Yeah.
You're talking about a man who, like you said, he followed everything. Now, if we go before that, preceding that, we know in the Levitical law and a couple other places, owners of property were not to harvest every last little olive. Like if you see an olive rolling away, you got to go get it.
Yep.
Maybe the cartoon from the Grinch, right?
Oh yeah.
And then there's one little pea.
He comes back
and grabs the pea before the mouse can get it.
Yeah.
So, there's that kind of standard. Boaz was operating according to the law of God in this regard, is that his field was open to gleaners.
Yes.
So Ruth is a widow, and she's also a stranger.
Yep.
And so, he's opening the field so that, whatever's being left behind. And then he says something kind of interesting, which shows sort of he's already kind of interested in her in some way.
Noticed her,
But he was, leave some handfuls on purpose, like drop some things, like leave some gleanings that, she doesn't have to work so hard to get. She doesn't have to crawl under the tree.
Big pile just waiting for it.
So now if we said the second parallel statement here, the testimony of the Lord is sure. Like Boaz is following this, and it's not true all the time. It's like we know that from Ecclesiastes, we have Proverbs, which gives us generalities about, the diligent shall succeed, they shall prosper. And then we have in Ecclesiastes a second understanding, like the race doesn't always go to the swift and everything like that. Right. There is some injustice that we see. Because people are people. The testimony of the Lord is sure. Like he's following this testimony, and what happens is he gets a beautiful. We don't know. We can't say. It doesn't say she's a beautiful one, but she's not a young woman. Yeah, she's not a young woman. This isn't like a 14, 15-year-old virgin girl that's fine. And she's a widow, and she may be in her early 20s or late 30s or late 20s or something, but he sees her, he recognizes her character, but he's already operating in the testament. The law of the Lord is perfect. It had converted his soul. He was he believed that this was the right way to operate his field, and so here this woman comes into his field, and we know that the sovereignty of God led that to happen and everything like that. But God is not manipulating the situation with push buttons. Right. It's like Ruth went to this vineyard or this olive garden and barley field, barley field, and got all this and came home with all of this. And, so the testimony of the Lord, the law of the Lord is perfect, but the operation of the law is a witness to just how good God is. Yes. That's the way I would say it.
Amen. That was great.
So,
that was awesome. Okay, so let's just recap for a moment here. And if you're following along, please feel free to write in any thoughts you may have. Areta shared with us already. Our Heavenly Father set the standards, how we are to live in His Word. Amen, Areta. Feel free to write in on Facebook Live or YouTube Live. We are in Psalm chapter 19 and verse 7. And it says, the law of the Lord
only verse 7.
Only verse 7.
We don't want to get any other one.
We can't go any. If we go past it, then everyone else is going to get mad at us because we started. Oh, that's you tomorrow.
That's me tomorrow. The statutes of the Lord are right. Rejoice in the heart. That's tomorrow.
Okay. All right. The law of the Lord is perfect. Converting. I found one really interesting thing about the law of the Lord. Can I share it briefly?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
We got time.
So in Leviticus 21 and 22, there's a whole section called the priestly code.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So, the word Torah, the word law in Psalm 19 verse 7, the law of the Lord, the Torah of Jehovah. A lot of people put that definition under the priestly code in Leviticus 21 and 22. which is very interesting. It's like all the standards that the Levitical priests had to live by and according to, if they were to make an offering on your behalf, on behalf of Israel, on behalf of whatever group that they're in charge of. Remember, the Levites went to live in different areas with different tribes, no land of their own. They basically just lived as part of that tribe, essentially. Yeah. And I find it interesting just to say, and just to point to Christ also, they had to be so pure before they could offer anything. Because if they went into God, or if they ate of the hallowed items, the hallowed bread, if they ate of anything with impurity in themselves, their offering wouldn't count.
Yeah.
And the people would be left like, what's going on? Like, our sins aren't paid for. What's happening here? The high priest had a really specific high standard that he had to live up to. It's so much so that it says even their daughters had to live up to a certain standard of purity if they were to be a good reflection upon their priestly father. So I just find it very interesting. And if you read through it, it's not too long. It's just 2 chapters. Leviticus can be a little,
it's interesting. Yeah. There's some.
Yeah. So basically the idea is that Christ is so pure and so perfect and such a clean sacrifice in the eyes of God that he covers everything on our behalf, that we have nothing in our soul that can't be cleansed by him. And there's so much, if you think about it, there's so much in our souls because of our fallen nature, because of who we were before we met Christ, because of all these different things that affect us in the world. But there's not a single thing that Christ is not clean enough to cleanse inside of us.
That's true.
So I don't know. I just had to bring that out because
it's great because when we go to the New Testament and we get to the book of Hebrews really sort of like everything that's being said in Leviticus is really defined in the person of Christ by the book of Hebrews.
The great high priest.
He enters in, he doesn't enter in with the blood of a bull and goat. And when that, you're speaking to both of those things, like why is there a bull and a goat? Because we know the high priest himself had to offer a bull for his sins and the sins of the Levites, who are the chosen tribe, to be the chosen people had a chosen tribe to represent them in atonement.
Yes.
And that was the whole setup. And so we're advertising the Foundations class.
Hey, there we go.
There we go. Pastor Matt and myself will be guiding
Shameless
you through
plug.
Worship. So, come to the Foundations class and see it 6:00 on Thursdays. We'll be talking about this later in the semester about, just Jesus goes in without a bull or a goat, just with his own blood. You said, it supersedes.
Yes.
So we know there, like you're saying, the offering system, the goat offering, there's the two, the one that is sacrificed and then
the one
that's sent into
out.
the far place to take away our sins so that they can't be found anymore. So that's a big thing. The person of Christ, his blood is sufficient for all the sins of the world.
Yes.
So, and he has to put it in the right place, which is on the mercy seat of heaven. And, we got to go through all the way through the Bible. We know that there's a certain place in Revelation where John sees the ark.
Yeah.
John sees the ark and he sees the lamb that was slain and he sees the ark of God. And all of this goes together back to the Levitical offering system.
Yeah.
So, that offering system was, it's torturous. And like you read all those things about like, okay, if you're lame in your foot, it's like right down to that. If you're lame in your foot and you're a Levite, you can eat, you can be in the tribes with there, but you're not doing anything in the holy places.
Anything.
You can't do that kind of thing.
Enter it. Yeah.
And it's like that's why it was so important for Jesus to fulfill every jot and tittle of the law, because he had to be the real spotless offering, and he was.
Yes.
So anyway, converting the soul and making us wise. There we go. So that's the thing. When you did the Ruth thing was really good. That was really good kind of with Ruth and Boaz talking about the
hold
law
on, can
and
you
what it
repeat
produced.
that? I want to hear Pastor Steve tell me I did a good job one more time.
What are you talking?
I'm pretending.
Do I not say that all the time?
I'm just joking.
I'm just
with
saying.
you.
Okay, I'm just saying that's really. When you're talking about, I've always seen that Boaz obedience to the law of God, and his testimony of that obedience really led to this place for him in the divine purpose, the divine genealogy of Jesus.
Yeah.
And and bringing the Moabitess into it is a big thing, because the first chapter of Matthew, we're meeting like a Canaanite person who slept with, who tricked Judah into sleeping with her. Mm-hmm. She was a Canaanitess, so that's one thing. And then we know that Rahab, she also married into the line of Jesus. She was from Jericho, so she was another foreigner. And then we see the Moabitess being bought into there, and that's all of that is like sort of the testimony of the Lord. It's sure he's for all the world. He's bringing all that into that, and but it made wise. It was very making wise the simple. It's like what could we say about that? Like, Boaz, how would Boaz know not to glean his whole field? Because the law of the Lord was perfect and told him to. Yeah. And it's like
human nature would say, get as much of that as you possibly can. You can sell it, you can get a profit, you can store it for yourself, you can put it in a barn or a silo or whatever the case may be, and you can have it for when you need it. Should there be a famine, you have everything that you need. It's like you worry, or you scheme. Like that's our natural, right? Yeah. But the law of the Lord takes us out of our natural, and it says, no, I want you to leave it. It even says there's a year of reprieve for the entire land if you're farming, right? Every 7 years or so. Supposed to be, right? So that goes against anything you would ever understand or know as a farmer. Like, you want me to leave my land alone for an entire year? Exactly. How am I going to survive? How are we going to live? And the Lord says, if you follow this, your land will be even more bountiful. Your crop will grow, and it'll happen naturally, because I have set the ways of the earth. I have put every tree and every seed bearing whatever in the garden, and it produces of itself. And that hasn't changed. That hasn't changed. Is the ground cursed? Is the earth cursed? Yeah, in a way. But does that mean that God's ways, like what God does, he does forever? Ecclesiastes 3 verse 14. And even if there's a curse, even if there's this fall, even if there's humanity coming against it, God's plan is not going to be thwarted by it. And we're just talking about farming. I don't know why I'm getting so fired up. No, it's good. But that seed is still going to come up. Like, that seed it's still going to happen the way that God intended for it to happen. It is. It's true. I mean, and that's just a picture, a picture of what the law of the Lord is intended to do in our hearts. Yeah. Now, the end of Second Chronicles, the last chapter of Second Chronicles, whatever, I think is 36, whatever it is, I'm not sure the number of chapters there, but there is like this, it's nowhere else in the Bible. It does say, why did God take Israel out of its land? It's because they didn't give the land the Sabbath you're talking about. Yeah. This was the law of the Lord. And, let's make a differentiation. A simple person is looking to be instructed, and he wants to know what to do. Mm-hmm. A fool in Proverbs and the wisdom literature is a person who scoffs. He thinks he's large and in charge. He knows what he's going to do. Yeah. This is what the serpent introduced in the garden. Yeah. You know better than what God is telling you. But here, if you don't know what to do, how would you become wise? It would be go back to the law of the Lord, see how the law of the Lord operates. That's the testimony of things. Mm-hmm. And then you're wise in that way. Boaz was wise to do that, and he found a good thing, which was a wife. Yeah. So there you go. And the wife actually became the mother of kings. Yes. Amazing. This is amazing. You're doing really good at getting us all around the Bible here with these things. Cool. But this is like... But what else was I going to say about that? But this is like, the testimony of the Lord is sure. If you follow the way the law of the Lord operates in society, when it's lived by, then, if you don't know what to do, then look to the law of the Lord. Yeah. And then Boaz,
why did he do what he did? You know,
Yeah.
it had been passed down. I'm sure that he's not the only member of the family that had lived that way,
Right.
but he's the present member of the family living that way. And what you were talking about, like, okay, that, like God said, like, if you would treat the land this way, then you would get this much. You would get this much to live for the next 2 years. You know, and this is the thing. Okay, year 6 comes. Oh my gosh, look at this. We can't stop now.
We got to keep going. We got an enterprise going here.
Where did I hear that? Oh, someone was doing, I was listening to a message from someone, and they said the same thing. Like, we're going to work. And then when we get to this certain point, everything is going to be like gliding along. And then he got to that point and the marriage fell apart because the husband didn't, he said, you know, you're not going to see me a lot. I'm going to be working 60, 70 hours. But when we get to this, when I get to 35 and we got this thing going, then you're going to see me all the time. And then, but, you know, covetousness,
human nature,
greediness, the love of money is the root of evil. And suddenly what is, evil, evil is the reverse of live.
Yeah.
So it's just very simple. You can look at it there, another language lesson.
Oh, man.
Evil is
I
live.
never saw that before.
Evil is live spelled backwards.
Wow.
So you're not living anymore. You're actually living in evil. And what is, this person living, he was talking about, I think, an investment banker or something like that. He'd working all these 80 hours.
Yeah.
Didn't cheat on his wife or anything like that. But when he got to this point when he could have been giving,
he did in a way.
He did.
Yeah, he did.
He just had a different mistress.
Yeah.
It was money.
Work and money. Yeah.
Yeah. Workaholism. There you go. That's a part of covetousness.
Yes.
So if we want to, that's what I'm saying.
Anyone listening out there? Work is another mistress. It really is.
It really
Think
can be.
that.
Any covetousness, anything can become an idol.
Yeah.
And I think at the end of the message, to go back to the message last night from Pastor Justin Schaller, he got to that point in Colossians, or was it
Colossians 3,
about where it was the idolatry part. He didn't really get into the idolatry part of it, but any kind of, when you're living as a workaholic, when you're living any kind of sort of addictive behavior, something has become an idol. Greediness has stimulated you to a certain point that and this is the nature of addiction. Like, like they always say, like, what is it? The pusher, whatever they call it, the dealer. Yeah. We call him a pusher, trying to push.
Either or. Yeah.
The first one's always free.
Right.
And then when you get the free, once he's got you strung along, then you need more and more to get the thrill that you got the first time.
Yeah.
And so it can happen with anything, like any of these kinds of addiction, whether it's a sexual addiction, whether it's a work addiction, any of these things are built upon the idolatry that you've set up in your heart. Covetousness. I want this.
Yes.
And a lot of it is comparatively based.
Yes.
I want this because, not with the substance abuse, but when you're talking about workaholism and, you want more than the guy down the hall. Yeah. You want a bigger house than the person next to you. It's like,
nicer car. Yeah. The whole deal.
Yeah. So you're not wise.
This all speaks to foolishness. This all speaks to simplicity is the way the King James uses the word foolishness a lot. Simple. Making wise the simple. What is the purpose of the instruction of God? The testimony of the Lord is sure. It makes wise the simple. What does that mean? It gives you guidance to get out of your own way.
Yeah.
It gives you guidance to let go of your own fallen nature. It gives you an opportunity to sit under something else rather than being, I think in the message last night, they framed it as being submitted to your flesh. You can either be submitted to your flesh or you can be submitted to the Spirit. And if you're submitted to the Spirit, Galatians 5, verse 16, you will not you won't be submitted to the lusts of the flesh. So whenever we think about like being made wise, or just simply not being foolish, Proverbs lays it out very clearly. Proverbs 1:7, Proverbs 9:10, Proverbs 15:33, and then the end of Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 13. It's what is it talking about? It's talking about the fear of the Lord, the reverence for God. It's I've been thinking about this for like 3 weeks now. I preached a message on it in Indiana, and now it's been the same theme over and over again the past couple of weeks. What is the fear of the Lord? It is listening to Him. It is sitting under his instruction. Where do we have that instruction? Oh, I don't know, the book of Deuteronomy. Oh, Genesis through Deuteronomy, the first 5 books of Moses. Where else? All through the Gospels, all through Christ's words as he's teaching and preaching to many different groups of people. It's right here for us to sit under and glean from and be instructed by. To say that the testimony of the Lord is sure is to say that it's been tried and found true. It's been put through the fire and come out pure. Yeah. Like nothing has come against it and changed it. Everything that it has come against, it has changed.
Yeah.
That's what's beautiful about living the test, like living in according to the law of God. And again, just as a disclaimer, if you're hearing this the wrong way, we don't believe any of us can live up to it.
That's it.
We don't believe that a single bit. We believe Jesus Christ has done it already and gives us the ability to be submitted to him. And when we fall hard, and we fall often, and we fall many different times. And that's why we need new mercy every morning. That's why we need to understand that we are a new creation. The old has passed away. All things have become new. It's why all of this is included in what we're trying to say today.
Yeah, we're not, yeah. No, I'm thinking, what you're saying is like, he puts in us both the will and the power to do of his good pleasure.
Yes.
So we're like you're saying, without the Spirit, it's impossible for us to recognize, and just the wording of this, like we need conversion every morning. We need mercy every morning. So that's a good thing. And we can't live, we can't live according to our own designs and everything like that. It's kind of interesting. I'm going to teach this tomorrow night in
church history.
In Dundalk, I'm teaching for tomorrow night. First, I got a Bible study in Dundalk tomorrow night, and we've been going through this on then church history at 8:00. Yeah. But the thing is that there's this really scary passage in Revelation 21 where sexually immoral, and then you get to all liars shall find wait a minute, all men are liars. I'm going to the pit. Yep. But if you read back, it says like, whoever's thirsty, come and drink of the water of life freely. It's like,
yes.
What does it take to be a spiritual person? Does your heart pant like the deer pants after the water? Are you thirsty? And that's what I'm thinking. If you have this thirst, like I'm thinking Boaz had this thirst to do things right. And so Boaz had a thirst to do things right. The testimony of the Lord proved that the law of God works. I'm thinking he had probably had good harvests all the time.
Yeah.
And why would he, maybe not. Maybe he had to weather because there was a famine. And Elimelech, in the first chapter, took his family over there, died, and his sons got his sons got Moabitesses for wives. Yeah. So it's like there was a famine. So who survived the famine? Boaz survived the famine. Yeah. He was wise, as he didn't know what to do. He was too simple. He was sometimes foolish, maybe, as all people are, but he knew that the law of the Lord was this thing that he needed to follow. It was perfect, and it's record, and that's why we have the historic books in the Bible. Yeah. So I'm not teaching the history books of the Bible, but I am teaching how the law of the Lord has made the church what it is today.
Yes.
It's not perfect,
no,
but the testimony of the Lord is sure, and God is going to tie it all together one day. Okay.
Awesome.
All right, whatever.
Hey, we got a few minutes left. I'm going to do another shameless plug for Bible College.
Very good. Yes, go ahead.
This is open house week at Maryland Bible College and Seminary. We have classes Monday night, Tuesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, all from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m., except for Fridays. We end at 8 p.m. Also, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday mornings, completely free to audit. That means you can come in on any Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday morning for a class from 8:30 to 10:20, and you can sit in on the class completely free. You would hear great leaders of the Bible, you would hear the book of Acts, and you would hear Pauline Epistles 1 or the book of Romans on any of those days that you decide to come in. This year, Friday nights are free to attend for Pastor Shabeli. He's teaching the book of Romans Friday nights. Foundations is no longer free. If you're a longtime Foundations auditor, you do have to pay for that this year. We are changing the structure of the course. It's going to be exciting. We're pumped about it. worship, right? Worship for the entire
wellness.
semester. Pastor Steve, this has been a great time. I can't believe we made it 45 minutes on Psalm 19, verse 7. Thank you, Book of Ruth, for giving us a good example.
Yep, it's good. Yep, and the Book of Leviticus for helping us. Yep, the law of the Lord is perfect.
Hey, it's complete. If we just keep talking about that, I don't think we run out of things to say.
No, that's true. Yep. We hope we made some people wise today.
Maybe.
Hope we helped people convert their souls.
I hope the Bible did. Yeah.
Yeah, the Bible did. Yeah. What we said about the Bible. Yes,
that's right. That's right.
Very good.
All right. Hey, thank you guys so much for joining us today. Please don't forget to subscribe or like or whatever buttons you can click to give us some support on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Facebook, and more. Be sure to join us for our next show tomorrow as we continue into Psalm 19, verse 8. See ya.